So, the New York Times recently released a page where you can vote for the 10 best books of the 21st century. I think it's kind of ridiculous to decide this now when there's still about three quarters of the century to go through. But I guess 25 years is enough time to start thinking about this. Also, I feel that the books you read show a lot about who you are. In that regard, I think this could be a good chance for me to tell people a little more about myself. So here's me talking about my 10 best books of the 21st century. First, I think a lot of people would agree with this one, All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. This story is about a blind French girl and a German boy whose paths collide in occupied France during World War II as they try to survive the devastation of the war. I'm a sucker for stunning prose as well as historical fiction, and this book has plenty of it. In fact, whenever I'm blocked on my own writing, I just go and read a page of this and I'm good. I'm inspired. There's just so much in this book that I love. The evocative imagery, the delicate portrayal of emotions. Anthony Doerr spent 10 years writing this masterpiece, and it shows. Next is The Sympathizer by Viet. I've actually lent this book out recently, so I don't have it. Just a note, I believe that every book that is resting on the shelf is a lost opportunity for someone else to read it. So I always try to get people who visit my place to borrow a book. This book is about a half French, half Vietnamese spy working for North Vietnam, whose mission is to spy on a South Vietnamese general in exile in America. Reading Viet prose is like being struck by lightning in slow mo. It's so powerful and it grabs your attention. It's like if hands reached out from the pages and pulled you in. Possibly the best book that describes the dilemma of identity suffered by the Asian diaspora. Human Acts by Kang, translated by Deborah Smith. This book is about the traumatic aftermath of the 1980 Gwangju uprising in Korea, which involved a brutal, violent crackdown on civilians by the military. It was either this or The Vegetarian, but I decided on this one because to me, Human Acts was just that much more hard hitting. Usually, I'm a big fan of something more surreal like The Vegetarian, but maybe it's the Korean history nerd in me that resonated better with Human Acts. It is a visceral look at one of the most shameful pages of modern Korean history when people's rights were literally trampled under an authoritarian boot. And for that, not only is it an important book, but it is a necessary book. Less by Andrew Sean Greer. This book is about a failed middle aged writer who embarks on a worldwide adventure to avoid attending his ex boyfriend's wedding, leading to unexpected personal discoveries and growth. I love this book particularly because it's a middle aged man on his journey to self discovery. I think we need more of that. I feel like so much of our culture is focused on youth. We need more stories about the middle aged. Lullabies for Little Criminals by Heather O'Neill. This book is about a 13-year-old girl whose drug addicted father is constantly failing to be a proper parent, which puts her in a very vulnerable state. And this allows a local pimp to start taking advantage of her. It is possibly one of the most heart ripping stories I've ever read about a young girl surviving through unspeakable abuse. And what tears you up more is that the reality is worse than this fiction. And it's why this is yet another important book. Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. This is, as the title says, a story about a woman who not only loves, but is obsessed with working at a convenience store. I think it's on brand for a Japanese writer to have come up with the most poignant commentary on why being normal in society is full of contradictions. The book's ingenuity manages to turn the cliched message of be yourself into something fresh and witty. Whale by Myung-kwan, translated by Cheon. I don't have the English edition for this because I read it in the original Korean. This is a multi-generational saga about the lives of three extraordinary women set in a remote Korean village. The novel explores themes of ambition, resilience, and the complexities of human relationships. This is the best magic realism book to come out of Korea, on par, in my opinion, with 100 Years of Solitude. It is that good. Lost Children Archive by Valeria Luiselli. This is a book about a family road trip that intertwines with the harrowing stories of child migrants in the US Mexico border. It's beautifully written, carefully layered, and it's so relevant to current events, particularly with the stories of migrants all around the world. And in the classic, masterful Valeria Luiselli fashion, her experimentalism absolutely shines in this novel. I'm constantly shocked that this book is not talked about more often. The Orphan Master's Son by Adam Johnson. This is a book about Park Jun-do, who is an orphan in North Korea, caught up in a series of events that sends him on various misadventures, including working as a kidnapper of Japanese citizens, a signal operator on a fishing boat, and later on a diplomatic mission to America. In order to research this book, Adam Johnson not only examined oral histories of defectors, but actually went to North Korea himself, which is why this fictional depiction of North Korea sounds surreal yet close to the truth. It also has this blistering prose, and it is so entertaining. The 400 or so pages just went like a breeze for me. Finally, Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. This is a book about three school children who grow up in a boarding school together, and soon they discover that they are clones created to donate organs. This book is one of the greatest examples of using a sci-fi concept to analyze the human condition. It's rich with that classic Ishiguro subtlety, whether in prose or the way he weaves his narrative, not to mention how he has such a keen eye in his commentary on the matter of humanity and our existence. This is the first book of his that I ever read, and right after finishing it, I knew he would win the Nobel Prize one day, and he did. So going back to what I said about, what the books someone reads tells about them, I'd say this list says that I'm a snob. In all seriousness, I appreciate stylish prose. I love prose that brings out the character of the author. And I also love stories that make a statement about humanity. And all of these books, every single one, has taught me something valuable about who we are. The Sympathizer, for instance, was a masterclass in what it means to be someone stuck between two identities. And it helped me a lot through my own issues of being a Korean Canadian immigrant. Never Let Me Go was a poignant lesson in how the way we love is a core part of what makes up our humanity. And Convenience Store Woman was a blistering yet humorous reminder that you should always be yourself, because being normal is actually ridiculous. But like I said, there are about 75 and a half years left in this century as of today, so who knows how this list will change. And I'll make sure in the year 2100, when I get to the ripe age of 110, I will make sure to update this list properly. Until then, hopefully this list serves as both a good list of book recommendations for you to check out, as well as a glimpse into who I am as a person. As always, thank you for watching.